Hi, welcome along to another Keep Cardiff Live Gear Guru, and we've got a really special one lined up for you today. We're actually in a theatre environment. It's the new theatre in Cardiff, and it's just before, as you might be able to see behind us, the Ultimate Classic Rock Show are going to perform tonight, so we're really looking forward to that. And we're very lucky to have Luke, by the side of me here, who is a guitarist with the band. And we've spoken before to Luke various times about gear and guitars, but he's invited me along to actually see what it's like live and the equipment that he's using live, the guitars that he's using live for Gear Guru. So I'm gonna really leave some of the conversation to Luke to explain what he's doing, but he's going to guide us through it. So if I can ask a couple of questions first, it's obviously a show that incorporates a lot of different styles of music, so you're going from sort of ballady to rock to all different types of styles of guitar playing, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's all classic rock, but in terms from the guitar playing point of view, we normally do about 26 songs in a set, so that's effectively 25, 26 different guitar players that we're emulating,
of course, yeah.
In a show, and not only playing the notes right, but trying to emulate their sound and for each song as well. So yeah, it's.
And of course, for the audiences, you want to nail those sounds, you want to get the exact notes and everything. So it's important that you have the right gear for that and the right tools for the job. Really.
Yeah, I mean, particularly with this kind of music. I mean, as you know, the people who come to these shows kind of know the guitar parts as well as they know the lyrics. Yeah. So. You really have got to try and get the detail right in terms of like the guitar sounds and try and get it as authentic to the record as to the original record as you can.
Yeah, there's a lot of air guitarists out in the audience joining in with you, isn't there? So you want to make sure you get it right. So I think the next thing we do, we'll talk a little bit about your gear, but one thing that, from a personal point of view, we've had conversations over the years about amplifiers and modelling.
Yeah.
And I know that you're a big fan of amplifiers. We're all big fans of amplifiers. We love them, but they're kind of hard to transport around sometimes. Sometimes you need different amplifiers with different sounds. So I know that you have sort of gone to modelling for these gigs at least, anyway. And you can tell us a little bit about the equipment that you're using for that.
Yeah, well, I'm a valve amp guy through and through. I have been from a young age, and I suppose having grown up playing like what I call real amps, real valve amps. When we were originally doing this show, I used to bring all my valve gear with me, so Mesa Boogie, Triaxis and stereo 50/50 preamp. And it sounds great, but there's a lot of equipment to lug around, and it's old technology. So, you get buzzes and noises that you don't want, that you have to deal with, especially in environments like this with lots of lights and interference. So I was looking for like a backup rig originally. So if anything happened to my Mesa Boogie rig when we were out on the road, I would have something that I could just plug in and get through the show with. So as you know, I bought a Helix from yourself, in fact.
In fact, I'm to blame for it because I've just said to you, you just got to hear this thing. It's incredible, And I used to have a Mesa Boogie amp. I love them, But I've also got a bad back, so, and there's a maintenance side of things as well with valves and things. So modelling is the way the market is kind of going.
Well,
as well,
I was really pleasantly surprised. I mean, obviously, when I bought that off you originally as a backup for the Boogie rig, lockdown hit, if I remember, or it was just about to hit.
So you had time.
So we weren't doing shows. I was sat in the studio for 12 months or however long it ended up being. So I did a deep dive on the Helix and watched all the YouTube videos and tutorials, and I got really anal about programming it and getting into the menus and stuff. Yeah. Which I think you need to do on the modelling stuff. I don't think you can expect to take it out the box and it just sound how you want it. You've got to put the time in. But after I did, and I tried it on one show, I'm never going back for this, because
it's perfect for it, isn't it?
You can go into the detail. I mean, I was saying to you earlier that for this show alone, I think I use about 100 different patches to get through the show, which you can't do that with an amp. You'd need 40 different amps lined up behind you, which obviously is not practical.
No, not really, no.
So I ended up actually buying another Helix as my backup. So now when we go out on the road, I've got two of exactly the same thing. Yeah. And obviously you can back all your presets and your patches up to your MacBook or USB drive, so you've got everything.
Yeah, stored there.
Stored
in case
and
anything
safe.
does
Exactly.
go wrong.
Yeah.
Because really, we're talking computer-based product here.
It is. Yeah.
If you can just tell us a bit about the Helix and your guitar setup here. There's a couple of other items on the actual Flight Coach board there. So
yeah, it's a pretty simple setup really. I mean, obviously I've got the Helix on the board. Mm-hmm. I've got my wireless system for guitar on the board,
sure.
and I've got a talk box.
Yeah.
I haven't got the tube in at the minute because the songs that we use that on are not in the set tonight.
Oh, right,
so
okay. Yeah.
I haven't bothered plugging that in tonight.
But I guess that's for there's a couple of classics with the talk box.
Yeah, we do Rocky Mountain Way, Roger Walsh, which is the mouth talk box. So I use it predominantly for that. But
Okay.
but that's not in the set tonight, so
Okay.
I haven't wired that up.
So in terms of the Helix, I mean, you said that you need probably 100 different settings, different sounds.
Yeah, I mean that's probably me being a bit overkill, over the top. But like I said, if you really want to capture the sort of the detail of the sounds and whatnot, I mean, some songs I programmed in, maybe you only need 2 patches for some songs, but then other songs you might have four different sounds just in one song.
So what would you say is the most complex song that you do? In terms of sounds,
I mean, 4 different patches is probably the biggest amount I use for one song.
Okay.
But obviously within each patch, so let me have a look. Within each patch, you can kind of at the touch of a button go in and edit the effects within that patch on the fly. So I can turn the chorus on and off, or a delay, or a reverb. So you can really, although there's 100 odd patches, you can go in and edit within those patches in real time. So the versatility is amazing.
Well, that's another great advantage. Is that if you do want to kind of tweak it, it is quite easy to do that. Within the patch, isn't it? It's quite hands-on that way as well.
It's kind of like having a, like I said, 30, 40 different amps set up. Yeah. And all sort of every effect that you can think of, all in one unit, that you can edit and tap in and out in real time. And so I've got not enough good things to say about it. Like, as I said, I've always played valve amps, and okay, it's not a valve amp, but it's a lot. 10% difference between playing through a valve amp and that.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is a lot of traditionalists will sort of say, does this actually sound like the amp? Well, to me, just from my layman terms, there's not enough difference for you to kind of argue about it, really.
That's right. Especially, in the studio, I get it when you're recording. I've got my Mesa Boogie valve amp set up in the studio permanently, and for recording, I do use it. Yeah. But for live, when people are sat in an environment like this, most people can't tell the difference between that 10%.
I got a feeling that's a pizza.
I think that's... Okay, so we've had a little talk about the Helix, so I think the best thing to do now is really see the proof of the pudding, what it sounds like. So Luke has now got his favourite PRS on his guitar. We're going to say a little bit about guitars afterwards, but I think this is the main guitar that you use most of the time for gigs, isn't it?
Apart from the acoustic and the resonator, I pretty much do all of the show on this guitar. Yeah. I've got another one. I call them the twins, number 1 and number 2. Yeah. This is always number 1. Okay. Just in case you snap a string, and obviously you spend all this time programming all the sounds. Yeah. It's no good picking up a different guitar with different pickups because it all sounds completely different.
It's going to sound very different, isn't it?
I wanted another one of these with exactly the same pickups, so when I picked that up, it sounds no different to this one.
So before we actually get into hearing the sounds, I've got to say one thing. Obviously, you've chosen this rather than amplifiers, but the thing is, does a Helix go to 11? Which I'm sure somebody will ask.
Well, that'll be the next mod update.
But obviously that's my lame version of a joke. But so I mean, if you could play some different parts that you do actually within the show, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, I've got some. I mean, when I first got the Helix, I started by just making sort of 10 generic patches, some rhythm patches, some lead patches, and then everything else was a variation or to those.
So you added into it then.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So this is my sort of basic clean. sound. Then I've got a slightly sort of pushed, overdriven.
It's quite like an amplifier sound.
It is. It's got
bit of compression kicking
yeah.
in.
And then what I would call like a vintage Marshall sort of. And then more of a modern sort of Mesa Boogie kind of. A lot of difference, but it's a tighter sort of bottom. And really, they're kind of my rhythm sounds.
Okay.
Then we're into sort of solo land, so this is more of a bluesy sort of. More of a bluesy kind of almost Gary Moore. You know. The last lead sound, then this is more of a wet sort of chorusy delay. So you've got the delays bouncing in stereo and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they're pretty much my sounds.
So you've got to emulate people like Steve Lukather, you've got to emulate people like Joe Walsh, Eric Clapton. You know, so obviously a lot of that is the settings on the guitar and how you're playing your technique on the guitar as well. But then you can go straight into the sounds, you know, just a tap of the button.
That's it. The sounds are at my feet, and then it's just up to me to play the right notes.
So all the work is done beforehand, really.
That's right. Yeah, that's kind of what I would call the pre-production.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that there are other modelling devices on the market, but the Helix is renowned as one of them. Like there's Fractal and
there's a few now, and they're all pretty good. In all fairness, it's just that's the one I kind of landed on. So.
Yeah, definitely. Brilliant. So I think there's just one more little thing we just wanted to ask you about, which is the guitar on the stand. If you just want
that's the resonator. Again, I only use that on one song for the chain,
is, yeah?
the chain Fleetwood Mac.
Okay.
Just very distinctive sound, that guitar. So that's the only one I use that for.
And a great way you've set it up there. So you just.
I haven't got time to change one guitar to the other,
right,
so the stand gets me through that.
That's what it's all about when you're on stage. The convenience, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah.
Well, it's been really interesting talking to you.
Thank you.
I think we're going to talk to another guitarist in the band as well in a second. But for now, thanks so much, Luke.
Thank you.
Good luck tonight. I hope it goes well.
Thanks, Tom.